Oh, what up, folks? Happy Friday. We're super excited. Bubble, are you as amped as I am? I'm amped.
I am
Well, today's going to be a fun day. We are going to go through as many of the Grind Vibe Code Hackathon. What is the vibe code? What does that mean? I
vibe
don't get the
vibe
vibe
code
code.
vibe code means that you can code without actually knowing to code. So you're coding with AI and stuff.
Oh, see, I'm learning something new every day. I didn't even know that part. But what we're going to do is we're going to break down the task. And I want to do a little quick intro in the sense that I don't think a lot of people know that Bubble and I do a lot of strategy stuff on the back end. Yes, I have a podcast and I create a lot of content, but we also talk to obviously a lot of founders about the why and their strategy and what they do. I have multiple years working in downtown San Francisco and the Silicon Valley area. I'm actually certified in design thinking, which is a thought process out of the school of Stanford, which is really understanding your end user. Is your business solving a problem? How to get qualitative tangible research from the customers to make sure that you are solving a problem and understanding your why. Bubble,
Yeah,
a little bit
a
about
little,
you.
a little bit about me. So I've been working with Mikey for a while now, co-founding and helping with the business strategy side and helping a lot more, helping Mikey really scale up, understanding what his message is and how we can possibly scale and get to a larger audience and the best audience that we can get to that fits Mikey's audience. And that's part of the work that we've been doing together on the Mikey G experience and also the strategy. Yes, so I've been doing multiple stuff. I just finished my research or my digital transformation and global entrepreneurship masters in science. My focus was on tool adoption in Web3. So that was pretty cool. I've been consulting for around a year, advising. And I've been also been part of a mini McKinsey kind of boutique consulting firm that is right now expanding and building something in North America, but it's originally based in Dubai. So we're doing some problem solving and enterprise work over there. And what else? A lot of solopreneurship, a lot of no coding tools, building almost everything except coding, but honing the message. I've been also been a mentor for multiple different startups. Last one, I was part of a 1 month run of doing a positive impact with an incubator that I worked with, an incubator slash venture builder education program. So a little bit about that, but rather than, and I told this to a lot of founders, rather than telling you too much about what I did and what I do, I want to show you guys what we do through this process, and I'm excited to dive in.
And his most famous line, I like this line. This is our tagline. We just help people work smarter, not harder. It's amazing how many people work way harder than they need to because they don't understand what they're doing. So this is what we're gonna do. This is a little bit different because it's super high level and project ideas, but we'll still talk about like here are the questions that we think you should start answering or asking yourself, and just give a general overview. So here's the competition. You need to build on the abstract train, right? It can be an app or a game. Make sure it's functional and demonstrates the power of grind. So, grind being the meme coin token for all. Incorporate the brands, include grind hamster, bearish bear, or plague frog mascots in your project. Be creative in how you integrate them. Use the grind token optional. Recommended to use the grind token in your project, but not required. Doesn't have to be perfect, just creative. Deploy on testnet. Deploy your app on the abstract testnet to save gas and ensure it's accessible to the judges in the communities. Workshops will be held on the 14th to help you get started. So that's already happened. bonus coffee related use case. For extra points, create a use case related to making coffee. Our flagship commercial platform. Inventory management via NFTs, referral rewards, farmer tipping, customer support, etc. So that's bonus. So, Bubble, break that down on what you're going to be thinking about now that we know the lay of the land of what they're trying to do.
Great. So we could create a rating system, right? If you're like an official hackathon coach and whatever, that would be the optimal way, but that may take a little bit more time than what we're supposed to.
Yeah.
And what we will be looking, I think that there's a few things that I like to look at is like technical feasibility, right? Or technical level. That's something that is not my specialty, but that's definitely something that I usually look at in general. And I want to see the messaging. I want to see if they're explaining it and what they're planning on doing. And if it's clear and they're actually solving an actual problem. If there is a problem, if you're developing an app, it's much more easier for me. When we're doing the game, there's other different aspects that we can evaluate. I would try to also understand if they did research and understanding a little bit, are they acing a specific target audience with a specific game? Can I see the potential? Or if it's a specific product, if I can really understand who the user is, and can I see actually a business? Um, is it actually a it does it have actually potential to be a business or something to scale up to possibly expand on?
Mhm.
And if there's a bonus in my perspective, if it's like if it's coffee related or looking at the brand and if it's implemented, I think that those things are like, for example, incorporating the brands. I'll be very surprised if any of the contestants didn't really put that, but I'm going to look a little bit at the creativity about how they implemented it and if they took it a step forward and did it in a creative way.
Right. All right. Well, let's get going here. We have our man Shiz. Love Shiz. He did one. I think he did it with Janner and I'm trying to remember. So let's go to that one first.
Do we have a list that we're going down?
It's just Shiz and then um I can't remember his name. Doc. So let's go to Doc because he actually sent me the link. So this one's grinded the beans. Let's go look at grind the beans.
By the way, are we streaming right now in abstract as well?
Yeah, man. People, come on over to
Perfect.
Abstract. Everyone always
Yeah.
watches on Twitter, especially if any of you are the project owners, come on to Abstract so um we can have some conversations here because this is always way better if we can uh have a back and forth.
You know
Grind
what
the
we can do
beans.
after? What I think we can do after is afterwards just scroll and see if anything pops. Just a really clear thing because that will give a little bit of feedback about what pops out, and that
Yeah.
would be interesting. I don't know if you're getting any rating for that. That's fine. And then we'll go, and then I think we'll start from the end. If we don't see anything pop, we'll start from the end because I assume that most people are going to start by the order from the beginning to the end. So we'll start from the end to the beginning.
All
And
right.
we'll need
So
to run.
this is Doc. He reached out and he said, "Hey man, super excited you guys are reviewing these projects. Here it is. Give me a look." So we'll just go quick through. Grind the Beans powered by Nebula and Blue Box Gaming. Blue Box Gaming is well, let's go through these
So
project
first of all, by
images.
the way, one small tip regarding the banner is if they had the ability of fitting it in the middle, that's just a small thing that is cut out. So, if
Yeah,
that's
I don't
something that
know
you
if
could have
this is
prepared for.
intentional or not, but like yes, obviously this is all cut off.
And
Um
and I'm also interested when you're saying grind the beans. I'm not so sure that I would want to see powered by if it's not by default that they're asking for. We'll see on the other submission that was part of the default you're supposed to do. But in
yeah.
general, I'd say grind the beans and use that just that estate for something. It could be beyond like a clicky sentence or something.
Yeah, it's more of a, and we're gonna break down everything. I know these probably aren't requirements, but just to
Yeah.
talk about how we're thinking about it. So obviously, this image could be improved. And then 2, I totally agree with you. If you're gonna have a title, let's say that we're scrolling through this page, this is a little awkward. Make it more clickbaity, basically, is what you're trying to say. So I think
Or
these are
provocative.
just screen grabs. So we'll actually
Because
be able to view the app. So let's go
yeah,
to about the pro. Go ahead.
on the top right, you can view the app. And by the way, some of the feedback that we're giving here as well, maybe for the people that were building the actual submission, right, form. For example, the
Hmm.
view app button on the right is not as intuitive. Like I'd rather see the button on the view app on the left rather than the right, maybe underneath the logo. For me, it makes more underneath the B logo over there. I would possibly make it or underneath the whole text. Yeah, or underneath in the center.
Centered and large, but this might
It,
be. I don't know. We're gonna have to check. Let me just
no,
check
I know.
quick.
This is what I'm telling you. I think this is part of the organizers,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's definitely something that I would just take in the future for whatever. And also the green grind vibe code hackathon. That is a bad contrast to the background, and it's really hard to read. Even though I
Yes.
understand it's on brand, but possibly putting the black on green rather than green on white would have been easier.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, and this is actually the template for the project. I'm sure they
Mhm.
don't have any control over this. I do wanna read this
Okay.
before, um, we play the game. So Blue Box Gaming is a gaming company powered by Nebula AI on Cardano, launching on IHF, fueled by blah, blah, blah. We aim to empower gamers where they already are at doing the things they already love. For the project, we'll be creating a rapid prototype for a game called Grind the Beans, similar to the games like Overcooked, where you have to manage a busy coffee shop, taking orders and filling them within a given time limit to get the best score. All
I think
right.
this is going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see how they actually implemented this. By the way, even having that message, especially in Web3, is quite scary. So if the team already went and verified the project that the link is actually good, you don't need that warning that just popped up right now casually.
Let's do that again.
Did you press view app? Yeah, there you go. External website warning.
Yeah, this always scares me.
Is it popping up? Did it pop up?
Mhm. Well, now it's asking me to, sign in with my abstract, right?
Okay. That's also interesting. Do we want to limit it on that level? But I guess that's to show the functionality that it actually works.
Yeah. Alright, so we're
Perfect.
in.
And by the way, guys, like the audience, if you guys want to ask questions, if you guys want to engage, all these things really help us knowing where to head also in the future, but also adapt in real to, yeah, to just provide a better experience.
I agree. Alright, so
We can
trying
see
to,
it's still the grind the bean screen.
uh oh, I have to share the new one. That's very annoying. I don't wanna share my whole screen just in
Okay.
case I am really good at just popping up random things, so let me change the, screen that I'm sharing.
Perfect.
Now, I'm not sure if alright, I'm not sure if get a shard on purchase. Purchase with grind. You need grind tokens on the abstract testnet in your wallet to purchase access. 10 grind and try again. Here's your receipt. Thank you for your purchase. Enjoy the game. So is it a requirement? Again, is it a requirement to use grind, but not necessarily token gate grind to your experience, correct?
Doesn't seem so.
Because if that's the case, this is already a huge deterrent. If you're
Yep.
asking somebody to get grind token that is not in Web3, even people in Web3 are gonna be like, "What the heck do I do?" And they
Yep.
can't even get into the experience yet. That is a massive, massive roadblock.
Yep.
Any thoughts there? You agree? Yep.
Yep. Yep.
So I step one, do not token gate your game to play it. Uh, Figure out another way to interact with the grind token.
I guess there's some volume we can't hear it.
You can't hear it? Yeah,
Yeah, there's something really, really,
there's
really.
a little bit of noise. I mean, it's a cool little intro.
Okay. By the way, the intro. It matters of. Now I can hear the. Yeah, it's hard now. Yeah. So if you can lower that down volume, it's a little bit too high. But
How do I change the volume on? I mean,
but
it's
this is
pretty
but
funny.
this is also feedback. You should have the volume. If you're having music on a website, you should have the option of turning it on very quickly, turning it off and on.
Yeah, like
That is,
where am I turning the volume up and down? This is
you you don't have that. Yeah,
it's confusing.
yeah, 100%. So here,
Definitely.
one of the yeah,
Oh
go ahead.
wait, here settings. Settings we're here.
Yes, but if it starts right away, usually in games you have still a volume that is like tuggable at the
Yeah,
main
there's
screen.
like a little volume button right here,
Mm.
right?
So that, by the way, that's just an example. For example, in matters of research, of looking and getting inspired by other games, this would be really helpful on that point. I think that another point, even before we started, you started with this blue kind of brand, and then I'm barely seeing any of that blue and on character brand. I guess that's part of the company building this,
Mhm.
but I'm not interested when I'm doing this specific hackathon. I'm not doing this to see you guys as a maybe you're doing this as a trick to advertise. Maybe that's fine. It's a growth hack of sorts. But if I'm here as a judge, I want to see it being coherent and being very clear that each thing fits with the others. And right now, that blue and the coffee do not fit in my perspective, and does not fit the earlier trailer that you had. That did not fit the character that you had before.
Yeah.
That's something to take into consideration. And you also talked about in your about section that you can play this based on any experience that you are wherever you are, right? So I was expecting to see something connected. That maybe when we start playing, we'll see something connected. That's my feedback at the
Yeah, I mean, I get where, you know, on the opposite side, get it that you're trying to do a typical like intro, this is the company that made the game. But even if I see the other thing I don't know is this blue part of the template? I think they designed this whole thing. So to your point, the blue is just off with the experience. Okay, about this game, Grinded Beans was probably developed as part of the Grind Vibe Code Hackathon. Now it's presented by the Abstract Chain and Bearish. AI powered development pipelines. Probably how to use cutting edge AI tools to accelerate development and enhance the creativity or process involved. So this is breaking down how they used AI to do everything. So idea generation, 2D asset creation, 2D to 3D conversion, sound design, code assistance, human oversight. This is just breaking down the fact that they used AI tools to accelerate the process to build this.
I think that there's a little bit of a missed opportunity there. I think that you could definitely have done like at least an AI video explaining this thing in a short, or creating some logos that fit and doesn't look like a very clearly GPT'd Next, even if it was human that did so, this is the vibe that it gives. You could tell me that you wanted everything to feel AI generated, but I think that you could have taken it a step forward in presenting this specific thing. again, this is may not something that the judges will possibly rate yes or no, but that's some of the things that I come into mind of possibly giving you extra creativity points on this.
True. All right, buddy. So
How to play.
settings looked words, how to play. Okay.
By the way, is the chat speaking with us or they're totally quiet today?
Super quiet.
Super quiet, guys.
Oh, Jambert's here.
There you go. Jambert the legend.
He said the background's fine. Okay. All right. View list of recipes, remove item from machine, move around, interact with objects. Pretty simple, straightforward.
Well, what?
I just
You got,
expanded it.
but we, okay, yeah, but you just got a objective. No? Or is that, you,
Objective. Pick up the beans, go near the bean crate, and press space.
oh, so that was a small bug. You pressed that twice. Okay. So this is, yeah, okay. This looks like a classic Unity kind of thing. Okay.
Nothing's populating.
Aw.
No. Let's try this again. We're going to reload, people. Going back through the
Loading screen, yeah.
loading screen. Intro.
Yeah, this is what we were talking about before, that yes, the blue, a lot of blue, and then it's fully brown.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is just their general trailer with every game that they play or they make.
Yeah, we'll see that on the rest, yeah.
Ah, here we
Well,
go. I think it got messed up because I expanded it like right in the middle. So
okay, so that's feedback as well. Found a bug. Good job.
this guy.
Yeah, this is classic. By the way, this looks like classic Unity. I don't know if there's some AI
Go near
tool
the
that's,
bean crate and press space.
okay, it's collecting the beans. Okay.
Go to the grinder.
Okay.
Go to the order counter.
Oh, you didn't collect the,
Oh, I need this.
yeah.
Oh, what's happening now?
Go. What, you need to do it again?
I need to do it
Oh,
again.
you've got
Quick,
a timer. Oh, these are the orders on the top left. Okay.
quick.
Oh, you lost.
Oh, I
Lost
didn't
an order.
lose.
You lost an order on the top left. There's a timer.
Yeah, because I hit the order. I put the beans on the thing.
You see?
Ah, I did.
Orders failed. You see? You got an order
All
failed.
right, I did fail.
All right. Well, that was an experience. Do you want to
Oh,
jump to the next one?
wait,
Or do you want to
now
carry
there's
on?
more. What am I putting? I'm assuming the So
The
this is
conveyor belt.
interesting in the sense that I think it's actually pretty intuitive as to where I need to put the things.
Yeah, there's multiple assets. I think that it would have been cool just to have, like, because it's like the first one, it's like a tutorial, having
Yeah.
like an arrow pointing out this is where you need to go, because sometimes it's not as easy to understand. I do like the plague, like the plague background and NFTs there. Exactly which collection that is on the right. Um,
It's their branding
okay,
on the right. I think that's their branding.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, all right. Like this game is, yeah, it works. It would be interesting to see how it compares to the other directions. definitely can see that they put a lot of work in the digital assets and had fun creating those. They could have put in a little bit more Easter eggs. Maybe we can't see them. Could have been nice. And
Yeah, so my big I would say my big feedback though is, here are the massive things. Great job on the asset creation, great job on getting something functional. Like you said, using AI to do this quickly. I agree with Bubble. The How you used AI basically seemed like you summarized it in ChatGPT. It could have been more interesting to talk about the tools, um, maybe even like a quick explainer video that would have been fun. But the token gating the game by having to get grind coin is a huge roadblock. Uh,
you know, how would you use Grindcoin in a smarter way? I'll suggest you mine after you get yours.
Correct. So I think the grind coin should have been interacted in this. So like if you're getting grind coin as uh prize, I'm assuming most of these games have some access to a pool of grind coin. So that's grind coin is a reward, correct? I
Mhm.
would say use grind coin to skip a level, make you make things faster, give you a 2x multiplier for your things delivered, and you can buy grind coin to help you achieve that. But you're obviously going to have to think about the game mechanics that you can't hack the system by just buying grind coin, but you would use grind coin to kind of boost you a little bit for a time being. That's my thought.
Yep. By the way, one of the people in the community, Mikey, is asking about the abstract link. If you could take care of that while I'm explaining that, great. Um, Regarding how I would do it, one, I think that in the beginning when you were explaining, I would add on to what Mikey said, add on a little bit to the storytelling, possibly tell about why you came up with this idea. What was the thought process? I think that really dives in and can also create a stronger argument why you decided to do what you did. And I think it's interesting in general to see, especially builders do this. Even showing some videos of you guys doing it or joking around or some bloopers, even, I think could really be a really cool push forward on that aspect. Regarding grind, I think that we need to see how things are implemented on the larger scale. But yes, you could play and you can earn grind. That's fine. I think the way that I would take this, especially with this world, I would possibly say, do you want to add some accessories to the restaurant, right? So, or do you want to change the color of the restaurant? Or cosmetics, more that would possibly be part of what I would be saying, depending on the utility and the limit.
Oh, I like that.
Um, So going a little bit that direction. I also think that you missed also an opportunity here with order delivery to add in a few different characters that maybe are prominent within the space. You could have added, I don't know, Pawns, Tolly's NFT just coming to the thing and building and delivering or asking for the delivery. I think that there's another play. Yes, it will take a little bit more time, but I think that that's just another interesting element that could have been there. And and last thing that I think that would be really cool would be seeing a leaderboard of people of how they possibly played, how much points they've earned, or how quick they were able to deliver, or what is my positioning compared to them when I deliver. So I'm at the top. I got 1 star compared to 3 stars. Great. What does that mean? You said you're ranked 20%, like top 20% of yada yada. So we can see
Yeah,
here that every level you're getting more and more items, which is great and all. Um, so yeah, that's definitely can see that you put in time, you did put into thought, but these are different areas that I would possibly improve it. Like, do you want
I
to add
agree with it all.
anything, or do you want to go to the next game?
We'll go to the next game. Good job overall, though. I mean, you obviously put a lot of work in there.
In the past, it would take so much longer. It's amazing.
Yeah, could you imagine trying to do that in the past?
100%. Hundo. Guys,
Okay,
audience,
so the
how,
next one,
1 second, Mikey, you go on the next one. But before that, small thing, guys, if you're enjoying this, we would love to hear your thoughts on this, some comments, some feedback. What are you looking more? You want us to be more excited, less excited? You like the the angle of the education they were going through. Do you disagree with what we're saying? Do you have any other additions and feedback that you want to add yourselves to the people? Some of these people are here on the live, looking forward to hearing what people are saying. This really, really helps in them doing this and possibly learning and possibly improving for the next time. And if anybody wants to retweet, to share this down the line, like, follow, all the fun stuff that can really be helpful just to get this to other bearish builders, abstract builders, like builders, and grind builders in general. That's just the one point I would say. Go, Mikey. Let me
Look at you, buddy. Look at you
know.
interacting. I love it. Okay, so Shizzler had
And if there's anybody in the audience that also wants us to prioritize their game compared to us just driving and browsing just like we're doing right now, put it down. If you're early enough and we have time, we'll go on to that one.
why can I not see where Chiz is? He made like a Tamaguchi thing.
Yeah.
Grind Ganchi. This is it.
How many people here actually in the audience had a Tamaguchi before? I had a Tamaguchi, I believe. It was like when I was second grade or third grade.
I'm way too old for a Tamaguchi. Way too old. Okay, Grind Gachi. Shizzler, Janner, and a couple other frogs did this. So, about the project, click Grind Survive, a fast-paced Tamagotchi style survival game powered by Grind token. Players mint their Grind Gotchi NFTs using Grind. During each 12-hour game, players must feed their digital critter every hour. Miss your window, your pet dies. Last critter standing wins 80% of the grind pot.
Mikey,
10%.
just show your screen, please.
Oh, it's not being shared. Sorry about that. Present. Share screen.
There we go.
10% of grind to be used for partner projects, making coffee, when swap, etc. 10% of the grind goes to the team. So they're actually taking the grind monetization, sending it to the brands, and also paying the team.
Once I scroll a little bit up.
And now we gotta.
Okay. So now we can see the template that we were talking about.
Yeah,
right? We can see the view app, by the way, is not getting pushed by the side like the other one before. The call to action, even though I don't think that it's supposed to be there anyway. GitHub link, okay, that's nice. That's a nice addition. The banner looks here better than the other one before. I think it could be still more optimized, but that's fine. The PFP, I think, could have been a little bit more. I do like this more than putting your powered by a specific company. But I do think that it could have been a little bit more Tamaguchi oriented, maybe putting a Tamaguchi behind it and the mascot in the middle of the Tamaguchi, similar to what you have on the flyer. I think that we'll need to dive into the flyer a little bit more, and that adds a little bit more feedback to the one before, which they really explained that they wanted to be a game that you can play anywhere and any experience. That was really not seen in the game that we played. You're playing in a restaurant, but it's not like I'm playing outside, then the game changes kind of for the experience outside. It's not me doing something it's not that I'm going to start playing it while I'm doing something else. And that's just what was explained in the about section.
Right.
Um,
This about section is pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, it's very. I can't read. Even if oh, here we go. I'll zoom in. And by the way, I think they were using this image. I think this is just, the website template. Like it might be responsive and it might just be impossible for them to do an image that fits. So it
here
looks
again, the flyer.
use this image, right? So fast-paced Tamagotchi style survival game powered by Grind. We just talked about that. Mint entry, pay Grind to mint your Grind NFT. 12-hour survival matches, each hour a smaller random feeding window.
I don't like this as well.
Give it to me.
I don't like that you need to pay to feed. Like maybe if you need, maybe you can pay to feed premium food to the Tamaguchi, right? Take it a step further. If I just need to pay this basic grind fee just for a simple feed, I don't really feel that that's the way. And Tamaguchi has so many different things. You can upgrade, you can evolve, for example, with Tamaguchi. That would possibly cost, or make it quicker to grow. That's where I would possibly do this. And maybe you can give it like a caffeine boost, right? To an extent, or something of that sort. Give it like a super sun, super ground, and buy some grounding or something farm. Well, I don't know, but that's where I would possibly take it, or go towards the cosmetic side as well, with especially with the Tamaguchi that has so many different elements.
Well, what you're breaking down is it's free to play versus pay to play, right? So they've made this you have to pay grind to even play the game.
Yeah,
And
similar to the last one.
yeah, and you're obviously destroying a large part of the people that are going to have access to your game, especially in something like this. It's almost like a given at this point that it's got to be free. Or now we do know this though, grind's probably going to be very cheap. So
Typical.
playing this would probably be a couple bucks. But is somebody going to play a couple bucks every single time? Probably not. And so, yeah, definitely got to think about that. Yet again, obviously, from a user perspective experience, if you're going to go this way to play grind, mint an NFT, play grind first, that all has to be insanely simple clicks of a button because you're going to want to play this for the masses and they're going to have no clue what to do with any of that. So, as long as that user experience is simple, it'll be good. By the way, this image is fantastic. This is very good. I think this is a fantastic image.
These images are 100% beautiful, but do they connect with the game the best? They could use this possibly as state for something better. One, I think the product image, and this may not be on them, this may be on the resolution that the hackathon organizers did provide. Maybe this would be better on an A3, a horizontal, for example, than an A4 that's hard to read. That I cannot blame on them. But I do think this A4 could have been graphically pushed forward multiple different things, like at multiple different levels, I think forward. I think, yes, you gave in here click, grind, survive, very cute. Green Daguchi, Green Agochi, a little bit hard to read, but yeah. Um, but that's cute. You have that little Tamaguchi in the middle. I like that. Do I think what I think the possibly, for example, would be generating with AI maybe different Tamaguchis
Yes.
and different evolves that I would like to see more here in the images. That's a classical thing that I think would contribute more to this specific level. And I do think that you could have added a little bit more graphic, uh, visual graphic excitement to the specific flyer, and making something more exciting on this aspect.
Yeah, it's insanely text heavy. And that's another thing is simplicity is always key when you're trying to explain this. Um, but I would agree with Bubble. I think this image is fantastic. I'll stick by my words. But it would have been cool. This would have been perfect, like you said, real estate to show an evolution of a Tamaguchi or
Uh-huh.
just screenshots of like the progression of the game. So you have a quick understanding of what's happening. Well, with
100%.
that being said, though, we're gonna go play the Tamaguchi thing.
Remember to share your screen. And I already have an
Uh,
idea. I don't know if you implemented this. Even in the theory, I did not see that, but I think that you had an amazing opportunity here. I don't know if they're going to use geospace or not, but I think that that would have been amazing. Like a little bit like a Pokemon Go now, but
correct.
that could be. Okay. Whoa! Look at this. What is this? Ooh,
All right, welcome to Grindagachi. Is it Tamagotchi or Tamaguchi? It's Gucci,
it's
right?
Grindagachi. What do you mean?
Grindagachi. Connect your abstract blockchain wallet to mint your virtual pet. Join the Survivor game. Feed your pet on the time to stay in the game and win grind tokens. Okay.
Mint for 100 grind. Okay.
Mint for 100 grind. Mint your grind. Feed your pet. We're minting. We've got 300 grind,
Whoa.
so it took
Whoa,
100
whoa, whoa.
grind. Holy heck.
This is first of all, well, okay. First impressions here on my side. A lot of investment, time, dashboard. First impression, it's cool, but for the majority of the people, this is going to be extremely overwhelming to have it
Hundred%
focus. But you joined here like a whole. I'm not.
tons of work put in. Love it. My head almost instantly exploded when I saw this. This is
Good
just
and bad.
good and bad. Lots of thought and stuff put into it. But I don't even know where to start here. And this is difficult for me. So let's go through it though.
I think that also one of the nice things about a Tamagotchi, like originally, it was so simple. It was
So
so
simple.
basic. A few pixels, great. So possibly starting with that image is what people recognize, and then put in a few different buttons and features that once you press them, it shows you another element of the screen.
Yeah.
One, it can help you really see what users are actually using it and interested in if you're collecting the data to understand how to improve the product. And secondly, it doesn't overwhelm me as much as I'm seeing all this. And especially, I love data, so I'm fine, but most people will be very scared about this. So
Yeah.
let's start with the first left game dashboard, round one. So you see the round
Hold
one?
on, I'm gonna add something. So, like, for me as, like, the design simplicity guy, this section right here, this game dashboard where the grind guy is bouncing up and down, like, to me, that is the screen. All of this extra information, in my mind, would be buttons if you wanted to see what was going on the prize pool, or you wanted to go to spectator mode. And in the current game, all of these metrics of like the phases and stuff would be in this one overall UI. And the rest of this stuff would be different ways to access it because it's not the primary function of the game. The primary function of the game is to keep this guy alive. That's my other thoughts. So let's go. So
Yeah,
one
there's
out
a
of
lot of user experience stuff here when we dive in.
yeah, go for it.
First of all, you have like game dashboard. So you have game phase on the bottom when you talk about current game, and then you have also round one underneath the game dashboard on the top left. Not so sure why I see it twice, and it's a little bit confusing. I would keep the game phase in the game phase or make it similar. Talk about also, you also have current hour, which is 1 out of 12, which how does that, what is the hour, what is the round, and what is the game phase? You have here, so you have current phase 1 out of 12. Great. So I guess each one of these is a round. Where's that an hour? So that's not clear to me enough. Waiting for feeding window is is also not so intuitive. I would also here create more images and icons, and like a feed me, could it be fun? Maybe creating a fun button that a feeding process rewards you for pressing that feeding button on time. Maybe you get grind back. Maybe you get some grind back for doing it on time and taking care. Maybe you need to pay grind to revive your Tamaguchi, which makes more sense in this aspect rather than losing all your progress. That's something that I would possibly look into. You also have the timer on the top right, which I'm not so sure if I would put that maybe underneath the round one. The relationship between the time is really hard for me. I see here so many different clocks and gouges for that.
Right.
And yeah, go ahead.
No, Jammer chime in too, has just said there's a lot going on. Keep on going.
Beautiful. DJ Master, great name for Tamaguchi. I would possibly want to see if I could edit. Again, another opportunity to use grind. You could possibly, if you want to change your name, great, you can add that. What is hamster? What is shadowy? I don't understand how that fits. Maybe a short tutorial to explain me one step at a time how things are going. Really complicated. Feeding costs 10 gribe and keeps your pet alive for this hour. Yeah, I don't like this. I really like that. And I also want to make sure that what happens when I go to sleep, maybe I need to buy something like an automatic feeder that would cost me again a premium, but that's just another element that you can buy only for a few hours, if or maybe um, kind of lifeguards kind of thing, that if you miss the feeding, then it will save you from dying. But that's, for example, what I think that another huge potential to use grind. I think that also the coloring is a little bit hard when you put this pink on the green. I understand you want it to be on brand, but for example, on the right, it's really hard to read prize pool and future prize funds, and even the smaller dark green, which I have no idea what says. Maybe
Yeah.
yeah, no idea. I think it's
Yeah.
15% something.
Team
Um,
10%. Yeah, that's this is definitely a design thing that needs to be worked on. This just all this text and stuff is very difficult to read.
the prize pool I would definitely put like on the bottom somewhere, or like
Yeah.
where it's not that important for me. It's not part of my game. It's part of the reward. If it's played to earn, then okay, maybe we can argue. But if it's actually to have fun with, yes, in the
Now
process.
now they actually do have down here
Yeah. Hmm.
pay grind to customize your
Beautiful.
which is a fantastic element. So let's see if it actually does equip it. Perfect. So yes, that's this should be integrated up here, like
Yeah.
front and center, right? Should not be on the bottom. Uh this, so I'm feeding now.
You should have like an inventory right here, right?
So this
Inventory and different
actually this
actions that you
game
can interact
dashboard
with.
right here,
Yeah.
and I don't know if people are expecting to see all of this. Like that's the other question that we would ask is like, is there vision that this would just be in the screen and these are extra like links to different windows? We don't
Yeah.
know. But this area right here makes sense as the main thing. You know, you could do a prize pool and just like a simple line graph right here. And then as far as the game phases, that could be literally right here in the middle. Like Bubble said, hamster shadowy. I don't know what that means. Obviously, the alive or dead is super important. And then you could literally load the cosmetic store here at the bottom. And now you've taken all of these windows and put it in one window. Super easy user friendly experience.
So here you got the auto feed. We're talking about Pet Revive, so they did implement these, but again, it was very hard to see. That's something that I'd expect here as a power up for my inventory of items that I have. That's where I would put this up. And the achievements, what is the achievement pops up? Yeah, here like power ups and achievements, I don't feel that they should be in the same category at all. Like it's one you want to actually check actively possibly, and even push the user to possibly want to buy this from a monetization perspective. And the achievements is, yes, something that you want to reward to possibly pop up. Like it would be really cool if we bought the gold hat and then I would get achievement unlocked. Great. And then something would make it fun. And then I would see where I could find my achievements and get a notification that that's there.
Yeah. Yeah, but also like so here's I think here's the last thing we can do. Obviously, lots of work went into it. Super interesting concept. But a lot of the work it would need to go into what are you going to highlight on the main screen and how to make this simple, right? So I'll tell you what I would do, and then I would love to hear what you would do. And we're just going to use the elements that they've already added to the screen, right? So I'll go through each one. Like I said, prize pool, uh, very little real estate. I don't even know if I don't even know if I'd have any of this. All I would have is a simple line of text saying current prize pool, you know, just to entice them. And obviously, hopefully, it's a big number. Spectator mode, I don't know. I don't know if that's really important or people will want to do that. This will be
And I
the
think that's
last,
cool.
huh?
I think it's cool, but I think it needs to be implemented smartly.
Well, let me give my opinion and then you can go. Spectator mode, I wouldn't add it. But that's just my current That's just my opinion. This game phase, super critically important, but I would put it right near where you're gonna be putting like, where's your eye gonna go in this game? It's gonna go to the image. That's really important. That should be right near where you're about to feed the thing, right? Cosmetic stores should be some other additional button to open up. And then this power up is probably the most important button in my mind out of this whole screen. Anything for you to make money to engage the user should be as close as possible to the feed button, and right next to it should be power up. The fact that it's a totally different thing at the bottom, I think, is a mistake. All right, that's me. You go.
I'm trying to think how to do it without me trying to explain it on your screen and without causing too much complexity. So I'll try to do that in a, I'll try to tune down a little bit my feedback on this, also to save some time. What else? What addition? So game dashboard, round one, the timing thing definitely needs to be explained better and presented better. I'm not so sure how to do it because I don't understand it good enough from the initial image. Timeline counter, I'm interested to know when I need to feed, when is the next time to feed, and not if it's 12 hours to feed, great. I just wanted to know if it's 12 hours to evolve, to feed, to do something. So having a clearer text to explain that and possibly an image. I do agree with the prize pool. It needs to be small. You could keep in how many survivors are there, but if how many survivors are there, I would want to see possibly who are the other survivors and possibly look how they're doing, right? And something of that sort. So I would add that maybe and combine that with the spectator mode in
Yeah,
some
that's
way.
actually that's actually a good idea. Is like combining the survivors and the spectator mode.
Yeah. So that waiting for feed window, that's confusing that it's not pushable. For example, can I only feed it in an hour from now? What happens if I feed it again and again and again and then it becomes fat, right? And then it becomes thick. And then something happens, right? If I can feed it earlier down the line, do I maybe after 5 minutes, I know that I'm not going to be here for the next 45 minutes and I'm going to miss the next hour. What happens then? So these are some of the use cases that I'm a little bit missing. Regarding the current game difficulty here, it talks about shorter game progress. So this is something that needs to be explained in the tutorial and maybe in the help section. And I wouldn't precisely put it here. If you want to put the game difficulty, maybe creating some kind of flame or some like of coffee brewing or something that you want to create an image. And basically the more it is, the more it's boiling up or the more harder it becomes or the more caffeinated one character is, right? So you can also play with that, but that I would not put over here. I don't think that's this whole square is it's the least important, I think, that what you guys have here. And regarding the cosmetic store, in general, it looks cute, but I would just put it as an inventory and then having the option of buying an item and equipping it. Also, the power ups I would put within that inventory and having like a shop section. These things are pretty traditional. I think with the out of feed pass, like I would add here, for example, an icon. I think that there's like not more than just that time thing, something more fun that is more on brand. Pet revival as well. That red heart is a little bit hard to see. So that's definitely something you can put like in many of these games, there's like this cross or like this revival, like aura coming from the bottom with a heart. That's cool, and you could do that. What else? Yeah, that's in general. We can dive into this a little bit more, but I think we should possibly try to get at least another game or
Yeah,
two.
let's get another. Overall, tons of good work. But I think in summarization, lots of UI UX stuff that could be improved here. But super interesting idea.
Mhm. Oh, and the geospace that I was talking about. I thought that this could be really, really cool if you're on your phone. First, you want to understand if the user's on the phone or on the computer. I think that's
Hmm.
going to help us better with the user experience on this one. Maybe it looks better on the phone. I don't know. But the thing is that if you could possibly implement a little bit of Pokemon Go feeling, and maybe if you go to a restaurant or a coffee shop that delivers coffee, right, then you can get a bonus, right? If you can scan a QR code and then you can possibly redeem an item, right, of sorts. So some of these implementations could have been more connected with the IRL. I think that there's just another opportunity there. And if you share this, maybe with you meet another Tamaguchi guy, like you go to an IRL event and you meet another Tamaguchi guy, then they have an option of transforming or something happening, or and also the last thing, and then I'll finish, is for example, you can have a breeding Tamaguchi program, right? So you can take a Tamaguchi from here or from there and do something and combine them together, which I think that is also an interesting idea that possibly could have been implemented.
A breathing Tamaguchi program. I love it. All right, so this is fun. I like doing this. This is tons of fun. We're gonna
Do we
do
have
this
any?
exercise.
What is the audience saying? Do they like it? Do they not like it?
Jambert, you're the only one that's actually engaging. Tell us what we could do better. Tell us what you like. Give us some thoughts, brother.
And if there's anybody else that wants to join in and chime in and just ask a question, that could be really helpful.
Well, we got over
Like in the
100 people
same,
watching us, but we only have 2 people in abstract yet again. How do we get people from X to abstract is the problem.
not only
Uh,
that, we want to get people to possibly interact with us. How do we improve on that? Maybe comment and say, guys, you're just not charismatic, or your value is not there, so hence we don't engage. Or you're not pushing enough. Maybe it's not pushing enough. Maybe we need to make it more exciting. I don't know. We're still early in some of these things. We're still very late, or just big boomers. I don't know. Even though we're two different generations, but
uh,
on this
but
app,
but listen, we're actually giving tangible feedback. Like, I think there's a time and space for different types of streams, right? And
mhm,
so my podcast versus our spaces
yeah,
versus what we're doing here now, I think the value comes from people that are looking for tangible feedback and strategy and how we're thinking about things and our insights. Do you need to layer on like a ton of entertainment on this type of stream? I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I mean, I think showing your face would help whenever you want to dox. That would be very helpful. But that's later on down the line. We'll talk about that. Shiz said we should check out the Grind Space Cafe next. I don't know if that was that was his project. So we did do that. I mean, that was in space, I think I remember. Okay, so what we're gonna do, this will be our final one because I do have a hard stop and gotta get going at some point. So we're gonna scroll
don't
through all
go.
these projects.
Don't you dare leave me, Mikey.
We're gonna scroll through all these projects, and then I'm gonna pick one that visually, just from the quick scroll, catches my eye. And then Bubble will do the same, and then we'll pick one to detail. So,
What the
I'm
why is this a view all projects? What's that? Is that a button on the middle? What is the
yeah,
difference?
I'm not sure. I don't know what that's all about.
Okay. So if the bearish hackathon projects want some feedback, let us know, and we'll just help a little bit with also the presenting stuff. We can help with
Bearish,
that as
we can help give you feedback on your overall templates as well,
well.
because we don't
100%.
know what just happened right there.
For example,
Uh,
there's a disalignment right now here, or very like peaky. You can see like the first line, because the first like Zarano grind tower defense is a two sentence thing. So everything is not aligned on the same line. Do you see that? Like that the socials, X and GitHub is
yeah,
not
yeah.
aligned as
I
well,
mean,
which
if
could
you
be
want to get that
helping.
technical, that just then runs down to like you have a certain character limit, so it does that. I mean, I think
No, but you
that's
could
a
put that
little
you
stickler.
no, you could put this in specific components. Then it doesn't you're not worried. You're just
I
gonna
see
see
what
a
you're
score.
saying. It's not one all container, they're different containers.
100%. This is standard practice, not just me. All
Alright,
right.
so I'm gonna scroll very slowly. I'll go back up. Alright, I'll tell you what caught my eye.
All right.
And I don't think this is because it was at the top, but this is the one that caught my eye the most. Don't Stop the Grind project.
Yeah, so that one did appear. I think the tap tap and the coffee shop we didn't go over. That's what Shizer was asking. On the bottom, like in the middle. Go down a little bit. A little bit. Here you have this grind
Grind
space
Space
cafe.
Cafe.
Is that the one that he wants?
Yeah.
So if he asks for it, he gets I think a priority on that
Yeah,
one.
he gets
But yeah,
priority. We'll do Grind Space Cafe.
that and then that one that you said was don't stop the grind or something, and tap tap was also something that popped to my eye.
Which one?
Tap tap
Where's
on the
that?
bottom. I don't know. Maybe it's a tap tap game like a tap
Oh,
tap.
Tap Tap Take. Yes.
Mm,
I think this one
so-
is interesting too.
Yeah, so those ones
All
were
right,
the
so we'll
one that
do Grind
stands
Space
out.
Cafe though because Shizler did ask about that. All
Okey
right.
dokey.
About the project, Grind Space Cafe, cozy digital cafe built on abstract chain. The grind is real. Vibes are immaculate. About the project, Grind Space rewards you with grind for referring friends or buying real coffee. Spend those tokens to tip real farmers, unlock exclusive brands, or just vibe with a bean jaman. That's funny. Your wise, slightly stoned AI barista uncle. That made me laugh. Grind token integration, earn grind for successful referrals, verified purchases from making coffee. So they're gamifying actual real world interactions. So this is interesting.
This is an app, not a game.
This is an app. Yep. Tip real world coffee farmers, unlock power ups or flex your deflationary swagger. Referral dashboard tracks invites. Crypto and fiat tipping supports farmers. Token gated shop access, exclusive premium coffee, merchant content. Benjamin, AI barista, you're laid back. Area coffee guru, ask about beans, brews, or blockchain, powered by OpenAI with a custom personality layer.
Utility, the review.
Grindakachi, game integrated feed your NFT hamster coffee to survive the daily grind. Oh, so this is interesting. They integrated one of the other games within their app, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that was part of what I was saying, but yeah, that's good.
Uh, okay. So I think that's pretty much
Right.
everything. Then I
So
actually, out of all of the marketing material, this is the most pleasing one I've seen so far in my
so
mind.
regarding this image specifically is good. The second one is doesn't look on the same brand. It's different style. I think that was a little bit of a miss. The first one is good, but putting that is too much. The third one, each one here is just taking it to a totally different direction. I would possibly keep it with the first one and maybe with the last one. Maybe.
Well, it
And I don't
depends.
want
Like this shows your laid back stoned uncle for sure.
but
But we
keep it
got to
in the
pick a
same avatar.
direction, right? We definitely got to pick a direction. This is sophisticated uncle that's not stoned. So these all, but the point here, I think, is these all are very different feels,
Yeah.
So picking a direction and sticking with it. This is simple. This is kind of like a typical cafe logo that you would see or modern cafe logo you would see in the States for sure. But picking a brand direction, I think, is important. This is probably my favorite one, although the rough around the edges Stone Uncle is pretty funny. Um,
Yeah.
but
If you
again, I think the miss here is this to me is a real big opportunity to highlight not like a logo, but like the
screenshot of that.
this best features of what you're delivering in your app or your game. Like highlighting whether it's a progression or your most interesting parts of your application. Like that's what I think you should use this for.
I think that
Not
you should use it more for screenshots and maybe pause, like, don't go there yet. Not yet. 1 second. I
okay.
just wanted to go about that section. I think that here that definitely we can see all the projects. I think that you need to intrigue me to go into through the project images. That's what traditional mobile games, for example, do a lot, or even just PC games in general. They show you screenshots of how amazing this game is, or each one of the feature and highlight, just like Mikey said. So that's definitely something that could have been learned from. Oh, we got Paul saying GI
All's up.
Mikey. Schindler,
Shizzler's
you can
up.
take a right, perfect. We see some of the comments now. Beautiful. So, and about the about section, again, we can see here again, it was very, very AI-ish, with so many icons. overwhelming.
Yeah.
I would break it into paragraphs. I think that, for example, hackathon bonus points, you could have been, I think that I would have doing a little bit more within the text. Good that you took the points that they asked for, great, the requirements. But weave them more into the text so it doesn't seem so blunt that check, 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 yes, yes, yes. You
Yeah.
want to be very strategic and tactful in that specific way.
Yeah.
And in general, the idea I personally, I'm biased towards products, so products that are not precisely games. So I'm looking forward to see how this looks like.
Yeah, and I would so also the last thing I'll say is about this, I think everyone that we saw this is about the project, you have a huge chance to kinda a little bit of story tell, get people excited for with the experience they're about to get. I think one of the big mishears too is like, again, this is very Chat GPT, copied and paste from it, but buried in the middle is that the game is integrated. I actually think that's one of your coolest assets or perks of your app is not only can you do the real world interactions and get grind token, but you also have collaborated with a game to make it interactive. Like that's a huge point in my mind, and it's just buried in this text.
100%.
All right.
New
So we'll
screen.
go to the new screen. All right. We are share space and cafe right now.
Whatever.
Uh,
This is,
all
I
right,
think, the mobile
grind
app.
space, a cozy digital cafe for Web3 enthusiasts. Earn grind tip farmers. All transactions on testnet only. No real assets. I actually really like this. This is one of the first ones that has this kind of security
Mhm.
message, which I think is great. And then they even have a link to learn more about it. Okay. So share your referral link. Enter
Uh,
grind space.
I'm not so sure I would put the referral link so early. We don't know what your product does. Like,
Yeah,
why would I
I would
refer
agree
you?
from a user experience, like, the second thing I see is this. I get that you're trying to do that up front, but why that populated doesn't quite make sense to me.
Well, that wasn't what I was expecting. I'm expecting this to be a mobile app. I'm not planning on for taking my computer to, like, maybe if we're planning somebody to come on a laptop, then this makes
Hold
sense.
on. Shift it down to mobile app size, you know? I'm on, here. This is what it would look like more
Okay.
on your mobile app.
Okay.
So and again, this is very wireframey, right? This I don't think, it's not polished design.
Mhm. Again, a lot of it looks impressive, right? 100%. But is it intuitive for a phone? I don't think this is built for a phone.
So, all right, let's just go through the main screen. So you're at the main screen. Referral dashboard. This whole referral thing takes up way too much real estate. And we're already like if I'm going to the home screen of an app, I need all the pertinent information way before the fold. Like I have to scroll basically almost more than 2 screens down. And so we have like the referral stats and your grind earn and all of this. This should be top front and center before a referral link, I think. And then the earn grind, play grind, Tachi, claim referral rewards, tip a farmer, visit a shop. I just don't think there's tons of explanations of what there's a lot to press, and I don't know what to do. That's my initial reaction. What are your thoughts?
Yes. I also like when we talked about before, it's like a digital cafe. It's not really your digital cafe. something a little bit more than that, like a digital cafe, I expect a product to be hanging out in, for example, and speaking with other people, and maybe something of that. That's where it sends me when I say digital cafe. But here it's like your cafe assistant, or there's like your how do you call it right now? Not the bartender. How do you call it? The guy that delivers coffee?
Barista.
Barista. Yeah, that was it. So like having maybe your digital barista to an extent, maybe, or your farmer, your coffee farmer support. I don't know, but just it's not. I don't can't right now find the right messaging for that. But digital cafe is a little bit of miss in matters of what we're seeing here, and the product. Even though I understand where you came from, definitely we can scroll down here, Mikey, because share your referral link. I totally agree with you. If it was a referral platform that was all about that, great. But I think you can possibly get a lot of value without referring anybody. Oh, more down. Get to the bottom.
Hold on, I'm talking to Shizzler.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Go down. What is coffee NFT earned?
I don't know.
You can't press it?
No.
Okay, so here, this would be cool if I would press on it. It would explain me a little bit about it, or just tell me these are the 3 NFTs that you collected, when I collected them, which coffee shop I collected on. Maybe I could even achieve achievements also for this. How many coffees I've collected, where have I collected, worldwide renowned coffee collector, tipper. If I would possibly be tipping in a restaurant, I would be getting an extra bonus rather than tipping from my home, because then I'm actually supporting a local business. Maybe a coffee finder. Maybe anybody that's selling the grind coffee could be here on a map and showing me where I can find them. This would maybe fit me more about assistant on that specific thing. Let's go down a little bit more. Play. Look, the idea of implementing play, grind the kachi, beautiful. I love the idea. Yet I think this was a little bit of a miss about how to implement it. Possibly connecting, possibly if you could show how you connect with it and what is the relationship between the both. For example, you could say, tip your farmer, earn a boost for your Tamagotchi, something of that sort. So here, tip the farmer should be possibly be the most important, and maybe talking about why tip the farmer. Maybe giving here even a list of farmers that I can maybe choose to tip, or maybe the coffee that I bought already has a authentication QR code on it, or an NFT that is attached to it, then I could tip specifically the farmer that made this specific coffee for me, possibly even scanning a QR code, maybe scanning a QR code on that specific coffee, and then it sends you, this is the farmer. Hey, great job. Can I tip him in grind? Right? That's, I think, where I would possibly take it. What, when you press visit shop, what does that say?
What happens if I visit the shop?
Yep. I like that when you hover, you have that a little bit of a highlight. That's great. Okay. This looks
Shizzler
more
is saying we all got, making valid points. So he's appreciating the feedback. And the
perfect.
real
Okay.
Carlo's in the chat. We appreciate you showing up, real Carlo. The man, the myth, the legend from Bearish himself.
Beautiful. So yes, this exclusive shop, I like it a little bit more. If this was the main page, that would be more of what I would expect, by the way, to see on the main screen.
Yeah.
And like purchase, and if you really want to make it Tamaguchi, then if you have your Tamaguchi, then get a bonus. You can also possibly mention it here somewhere. And just like in a small power up thing, and get a power up barista masterclass. So here you're bringing so many things that I think that this is another product in itself to an extent. You're basically right now becoming an e-commerce for these specific coffees. I was expecting more about how you can connect the digital space more. If I go to a restaurant, how can I empower that experience of me buying coffee and empowering and combining that with the grind ecosystem? Maybe if you buy a coffee, you get grind points. What about that? If you buy a thing, and you can possibly decide if you want to donate that or donate it back to a specific farmer or to a specific story, maybe you need to pay with grind points to the coffee shop and get a discount, right? A lot of these different directions are very possible. And I think the direction that you took here is very, very interesting. And I really, really like the general direction. I do think that synthesizing to make it simple and focusing on one, maybe two specific problems that you're trying to solve would have been a huge push forward. But definitely there was a lot of thought and a lot of work that was put in. So great job on that. And those are my points on this. Mike,
Yeah,
do you have
and,
anything to that?
so let's go
Oh yeah, bearish barista.
bottom line. At this point, I'm so overwhelmed. There's so much going on here, and so like even this that like this example of a user interface situation, right? I hit tip the farmer. I go back to tip the farmer. I hit visit the shop. I go to the exclusive shop, right? That's great. So those go to those sections. The other messaging on here is how to claim your rewards, which pops up a window, which is great. Go to play grind a gotchi. No really references to why I should press that button or what it even is. And then there's the rest of the real estate is all about referring your friends.
Mhm.
And I hit this hamburger menu and I'm like, what? Earn, coffee reading,
Coffee reading,
leaderboard.
I love that. Totally different product though.
Yeah, but these are literally you could make probably 3 or 4 products just out of these different ideas. They're great ideas, but like this barista, we talked about this, it was one of the highlights in the project overview, and this is now buried in the bottom of a hamburger menu, and it's an interesting idea, but I don't know. My point is, it is overwhelming. There is a lot here, and I don't think there's anything that has so far. I have not seen a logical progression of the way these things are laid out for me to understand what everything is or where I'm going.
The
Does that
flow,
make sense,
the
Bubble?
flow, the flow chart of creating the flow navigation of the product process is really not clear. But I think that that connects because there's so many features, so many different directions. And yeah, I would definitely like if only one of them would have been a banger, two maybe in one thing, a lot of potential idea execution. Definitely UX UI here is, we can also talk about a little bit how you would decide how to create this if we had to create this from zero. But in really short, what I would do is I would choose one persona, one character in mind that you think, for example, if you think this is a barista, great. Do you think this is somebody to go into a shop that is Web3 native? Great. If it's not Web3 native, great. If you're talking about somebody that likes to buy coffee in a large amount compared to a small amount, if somebody's just going to buy a cup of coffee compared to buying a bag of coffee, choose one of those people and ask yourselves what problems do they have, and or you can also ask the business as a business what kind of problems does the business have and possibly solve that using the different elements that are required for the hackathons regarding how you're going to use the points. But try to solve the problem and focus on one persona, one problem, and then build out what needs to be there to solve it. And then build. Just start with wireframes, no design. Wireframes like very simple mock-up, just squares, circles, just a few underscore lines that would represent text or a title or specific things of that sorts, and just feel the flow. You can also
Yeah.
create, if you look at what a flow is, it basically shows you we start at the main menu. From the main menu, we have 5 different options. From each one of these menu, it breaks down to these 15 different screens. And having those specific in the architecture and the foundation of the app would really, really help you.
Yep. And I think we should do this as a closing. Let's pick a persona and talk about how we would change it. I think it would be an interesting exercise. So I think which makes the most sense to me. Okay, we have a lot of information here. We've got a lot of interesting things. We are trying to solve for the native Web3 crypto guy that loves to go to his local coffee shop and support his local community.
Mhm.
This is the
Uh,
person.
Right. What's the biggest problem they have?
The biggest problem that they have is they feel like they go to the local barista and they don't have an opportunity to meet more people because they're really passionate about their local community and they feel maybe disconnect that like they're connected in the sense that they're supporting their local community, but they want more socialization
Great.
opportunity.
Beautiful. Beautiful. This is a use case that was not presented in this one, but this would fit more the digital cafe avenue. So there's a few ones. One, I would ask myself, does he know what coffee shop? Does he care for the specific coffee shop that he goes to? He has
Mhm,
one coffee shop that he goes to always, or he likes to bring the variety. So, for example, if it's a variety, then I would possibly say that he needs to decide which coffee shop he goes before.
mhm,
So, possibly jumping in through the app to a local pool of grind holders or grind supporters, and possibly schedule a coffee. And then you could possibly find another community member in the area and schedule a coffee and going. And you can possibly tip your, if it was a good experience going out with the person, you can tip them with grind, for example. Or you can pay with grind to get more options of to getting more matches, for example, for different people and being highlighted.
yeah,
Or maybe if you want to say, I like the specific, maybe it's a combination of both. And I would say, I want to highlight the specific coffee shop that I like, or maybe a business owner, but let's say not a business because that's a, let's say I'm going to this coffee shop and I like it. And let's say coffee shop A, and I want to meet somebody over there. Then I can promote maybe this coffee shop on the app and basically buy a boost for the coffee shop using Grind and saying, whoever wants to come, I'm sponsoring maybe the coffee, right? Something like that. Whoever I just want to meet, coffee's on me. And let's grind it out. And then you can basically buy the coffee for that. And then the first person or the person that qualifies that submits that specific thing can go and enter that. Maybe it's a subscription based on Grind to enter the specific platform. Right? Seen tons of those matchmaking things, and it's no much different when you're doing networking. It's just a different end result that you're looking for.
yeah, absolutely, and I think that's just obviously a totally different direction. But what we're getting at here, Shiz, is how simple that exercise was picking personas, and then it helps hone in your idea a lot more. Because this could be now a whole nother variation that doesn't need the app, um, doesn't need the game. Yes, you could do the referral link, but then up and center would be okay. If this is really is a we want to center on Web3 people, which probably was the instance in the beginning, right? Like, how do you attract Web3 native crypto people that like coffee and engage them using grind? How cool would that be if it was also a portal into meeting new native Web3 people in your local community because you're already targeting people that love their local community. Why do you go to your local coffee shop? Why do you spend 3x the amount of money than you could at a Dunkin' Donuts? Uh, because one, obviously the quality is better, but two, most people like their local community. They want to feel connected to their local community. And this app would be an awesome opportunity uh, to expand that idea. So I think overall, lots of great ideas here. You got to pick a direction. I think that's just the simple broken down feedback. Any other thoughts, Bubble?
The only thing that I would just fine a little bit is what was the problem we were solving? Like just to make sure that because we already dived kind of into the solution, maybe the pain was a little bit skipped in what we explained, even though we already calculated that when we were explaining.
Yeah.
And you started explaining it, is finding people like me is hard. Like me means people that are Web3 looking for a physical interaction. I like coffee, they like coffee. how can I, and finding these people is hard. Currently, how I find them is maybe on Facebook groups, maybe on friends of friends group, maybe multiple different Discords, maybe on Twitter. This is where I need to find them. Most likely it's going to be just a friend of a friend, or I happen to stumble upon them. Let's make it less randomized in the aspect of where to find them. There's a specific one point which you can just log into. That's the whole point, is to network with other people, creating a larger pool of people, which creates more opportunities and easier to access. That's what I would say is the pain, and what we're possibly the problem that we're solving. And then how we solve it is what we present it and what it looks like.
I would say so. Actually, here's the last thing I want to do, and then I have to hop off. Um, Knowing what they did now, this is a prime example of not starting with the why and then building a product from there. Because what I see here is a lot of efforts and good ideas on straight going to the what. And what you're doing is trying to insert grind into the coffee ecosystem and link to as many plague bearish owned entities as possible. But that's the what. The what is um how do I get more people to use grind and buy real world assets owned by these brands? But that does not answer the why. And if you would have started with the why and honed down the why, like we just said, for a specific persona, now you have a honed in solution that is thoughtful, that makes sense, opposed to the product that we see here, which is a bunch of different ideas all wrapped into one that's pretty confusing. How would you say what I just said, Bubble? Because you're way better at articulating. You know what I was trying to say. I don't know
Yes.
if that was clear or
So
not.
I think I'll reiterate it just to make sure. There was a combination of features and solutions on the what level. That's what we see here. Beautiful. How it's implemented, we can clearly see how it was built. But the reason why you created it to start with was complex. So what Mike is suggesting, if you start with what is the problem? Why is there necessity for something? Understanding the specific problem, specific person. Think of, once you identify that thing, you can understand how you're going to build it, and then, or how you're going to solve it. And then the what are the actual features that are going to deliver the specific solution and solving that specific problem. That's all it was.
Correct. Just another way to send.
Iterated.
Ah, shiz gives us the final feedback as we're shutting it down. Totally, completely understand what you guys are talking about. I've already leveled up listening to both of you.
Beautiful. So
Fantastic. That's exactly the feedback that we're going for. And with all of that being said, this is super fun exercise. Bubble, what's your review? What do you think? Did you have fun? What do you think we could have done different? What do you think you learned from the experience? And
I
then I'll
know
give
the
you my
why we
thoughts.
did it, right? I saw the how we did this. I saw what we did. I think it was pretty good. The one thing that I'm personally missing, and I told you about this before, and I also tried to share it with the audience, is what were you guys looking for? What did you guys value? How was the presentation of the information? Was it too much? Was it too less? Too deep? Maybe we could have went half the level of depth and ran another 3 different projects. Maybe we could have done it an hour and not an hour and a half. Maybe we could have went a different direction. I don't know. Maybe we need to bring the founder, like maybe the builder themselves, and bring them on the podcast and then presenting this, and then we can give them the feedback. I don't know, but that's the thing that I would love to hear from you guys, that I'm a little bit missing. Just like we're doing here on the research and understanding the problem, if we actually solve the problem. I'm grateful for the viewers that we had here. I'm looking for, maybe we can do another chapter, maybe or during the weekend or next week, and possibly covering a few other apps if the audience and the community wants to. Maybe the grind, the plague, the bearish community would like to see more of it. If they like it, I'm down. And it's been a pleasure as always sharing the time with you and this beautiful audience. And that's it.
Jammer said bringing them on would be great. I had a ton of fun. My review too is how do we create a feedback loop for ourselves? Because I would love to really understand what people liked, what they'd like to see differently. Because I had tons of fun doing this. I mean, we got some comments that it was valuable insight. But is there a different format? And I think the question that you asked that is, I think, most interesting to me is the depthness of how we go. Like, are we concentrating on the right things that are meaningful to you? Was it did we waste too much time on the project overview page? Should we have gone straight into the app and the meat of things? And then what other interactions would have been interesting to you when, we finally got some people on Abstract, but we have a ton of people watching us on Twitter, but we only have 4 people on Abstract. Like, what if you're gonna watch on Twitter, what is that, feedback loop that we can do other than continuing to ask you to give us feedback? Uh, Jammer said it was pretty smooth, he digged it, and just bringing on the founder would be great too. So, maybe we can reach out to some founders. I think I know they're awarding everybody tomorrow. So what we could do next week is pick the winners and give us a breakdown of the winners. Uh, and Jammer said we maybe wasted a little bit too much time on the overview page instead of getting straight into the thick of things. That if I were to do it over again, I think that would be my review of ourselves as well.
Okie dokie.
All right. Well, we love you all. Bubble and I love being part of the Web3 community. Not only do you all know me from my podcast, but Bubble and I work together on a daily basis. We work with founders and do strategy. Please give Bubble a freaking follow. And you didn't put your NFT, your Twitter handle up there, bud. You did yourself a disservice.
People know me as Bubble, not Bubble underscore NFT underscore. It's not very attractive.
His actual Twitter handle is at bubble underscore NFT underscore. So give Bubble a follow.
Yeah.
We're also trying to build his brand up because he's got an incredible mind and is one of the top strategies people in the spaces. And he should be recognized for his hard work. So we appreciate you all. Streams in spaces and more content like this all coming next week. Get excited. We'll talk to you later. Mikey G and Bubble are out. And I don't know where the actual abstract stream is. So we're
We're good.
Mikey G and Bubble are out.
Perfect.